Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I want to say it's a good afternoon, but it's 100 days since the Senate Republicans have not passed the budget. I want to say it's a good afternoon, but we got rape crisis centers closing. We've got county offices laying people off. We have senior centers closing their doors in Westmoreland and Indiana counties. This is not a good afternoon because it's 100 days and the Senate Republicans are shutting this state government down. Every week we've been close to a deal. Every week we're at the 1 yard line. Every week the Senate Republicans forget they've got governing partners over in the House where we are ready to rumble and we're always ready to compromise. No matter how much we're ready to compromise, it's another excuse. Another excuse not to do the fundamental job of our voters sending us into this Capitol and be good stewards over their tax dollars. 100 days and school districts are borrowing money. 100 days and the Senate Republicans are trying to shut us down. 100 days and they're following their leader in Washington, D.C., making everyday people feel the pain. 100 days is absolutely unacceptable. The time is long overdue for us to get serious about compromising. We understand when we go in those small rooms and negotiate, Senator Hughes, we don't walk out with everything we want. We understand, Chairman Harris, when we go into those rooms to negotiate, we're never going to walk out with everything we want. Yet our friends that lead the Senate Republican caucus refuse to negotiate in good faith. They refuse to compromise. They refuse to put the people of Pennsylvania first over politics. It's absolutely unacceptable. It's inexcusable. When you are a leader, you lead. Meanwhile, the people in Pennsylvania are suffering. From Lancaster County, where high school students are walking out because their schools continue to be underfunded, to the senior centers closing their doors, laying off staff in Westmoreland, to the rape crisis centers in Philadelphia that are having to lay people off and not assist victims in the horrible, worst moments of their lives. This is serious, people, and we are serious about doing the people's work. Between the Senate Democrats and the House Democrats, and I'll say it, the House Republicans, we want to find our way to a budget. I don't want to hear you don't have 26 votes when I know there's at least 23. Am I right, Leader Costa? I don't want to hear another excuse that you can't get it done when we're going to have more than 102 in the House because almost every bill we pass is bipartisan. I don't want to hear another excuse. Our children are waiting. Our seniors are waiting. People are already wanting to give up on government when they see the horrible, irresponsible leadership every day in Washington. At least we in Harrisburg could be above the fray, but you gotta be serious about the people's business. And on day 100, guess what? Let's get serious.
Now we have Brett Harris. Introducing Deacon Harris.
All right. Y'all crazy. As we would say in the black church, let's raise an offering now. Listen, we are seriously at day 100 of the Senate Republican shutdown here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And I want to take us step by step through how we got here, because I think it's extremely important for everybody that is sitting at home to understand where we are, right? We'll get beyond the political rhetoric. This is not about politics, it's about people. And I want folks to understand the facts and why we're here today. In early February, our Governor Josh Shapiro, gave his budget address, his blueprint for moving Pennsylvania forward. After the budget address, of course, the House and the Senate then partaked in 3 to 4 weeks of budget hearings where we brought together department heads from all across the Commonwealth to talk about what was in the governor's budget and to give members, Democrat and Republican, the opportunity to question the administration on what was in that budget. We then, in the House, introduced House Bill 1330, which was our budget. We amended that bill and we sent it over to the Senate on July the 14th. I want to be clear. The budget that we sent was $1 billion less than what Governor Shapiro proposed. $1 billion less. As the speaker said, we understand we can't get everything that we want, but we were willing to compromise in good faith to get a budget done for the people of Pennsylvania. $1 billion less is what we sent over to the Senate on July the 14th. The Senate on August the 13th sent us their budget. And it was a copy and paste of last year's budget. I want to be very clear about that. I want folks to understand this. We sent a budget $1 billion less that still took care of roads and bridges, that still took care of education, that still took care of our seniors, that still took care of the rape crisis centers, that still took care of all of the things that we as Pennsylvanians talk about being important to us. What did the Senate Republicans do? They sent us a copy and paste of last year's budget. Now listen, I'm not gonna lie. When I was in high school in homeroom, I used to copy and paste off of my neighbor sometimes to make sure that my homework got done. Allegedly. I think, yeah, allegedly. Well, look, the ink is dry on my diploma at this point. I done got degrees, we okay. You know? But the Senate Republicans did the same damn thing by copy and pasting last year's budget. And let me tell you what that actually means. That means that they were willing to defund the police. That means that they were willing to defund our schools. That means that they were willing to defund our healthcare system in Pennsylvania. Because here's the thing, just like you all sitting at home, you have an increase in your gas, your electric, you have an increase in your bills at home. The same way you have an increase, so does the state. So when the Senate Republicans send us a budget that is last year's numbers, they are actually sending us a budget that cuts funding to the most vital systems that we have in this Commonwealth. So I want you to understand where we are and how we got here. Senate Republicans complained about mass transit, said we couldn't do a mass transit deal. That was the holdup for the budget. Okay, mass transit is done temporarily. Let's be very clear about that. That is not a full-term, long-term solution. And in 18 months, we'll be right back here in the same conversation about mass transit because they didn't have the courage to do what's necessary to fix mass transit. But fine. We're not talking about mass transit anymore. They say we need revenue. Okay. House Democrats sent over legalization of adult use cannabis. What did the Senate Republicans do? Nothing. Okay? Senate Republicans, they were supposed to send us a skill games bill. We are still waiting. Okay? The only damn thing that they sent us was a copy and paste of last year's budget. I need folks at home to understand what we're talking about. Okay? So I'm being very clear and very direct. They said we couldn't do it because of mass transit. That's no longer on the table. Still no budget. They said we couldn't do it because we need revenue. We sent them over marijuana. Still didn't do anything. They said they were going to send us skill games. They still haven't sent us skill games. And the only thing that they've done is defunded the police, defund public education, defund our senior centers and our senior services in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And so now, here we stand 100 days with the Senate Republican shutdown. We want to talk about funding interest rates and funding money to help. Well, how about this? We wouldn't need none of that shit if you just passed the damn budget. If my pastor and my mama's watching, I apologize. But this is a serious matter. And folks, you gotta understand, these are facts. This ain't hyperbole. You can go online, you can look at the bills, you can look at what moved, when it moved, and what it did. That's why we're here today, because there is one group of folks in that chamber over there who have decided that politics is more important than doing the people's damn business. And we're tired of it. We want you to be tired of it. We want you to understand that all of these folks are ready to get a budget done, but there's one group of people in this building who don't want to do it. So, 100 days later, we are still here, and the created problem this crisis that was created by the Senate Republican caucus. Let's be very clear. This ain't finger pointing, this is truth telling. My mother used to say, tell the truth and shame the devil. Our leader over in the Senate, Leader Jada Costa.
Thank you very much, Chairman Harris. And Speaker McClinton, thank you very much, as the chairman said, for speaking the truth. Because having operated in the Senate for the last several years, it's clear that they have no intention of getting a budget done, that they're playing politics. You saw it earlier today when they passed a measure talking about providing the treasurer with authority that she doesn't have and providing loans, and how untruthful their messaging and misleading their messaging has been. When they're out there talking about Democrats wanting to raise taxes, it's BS. It is not true. And let me be very, very clear. Democrats are not talking about raising taxes. Senate Republicans are the only ones talking about raising taxes. Let's be clear about that. Our governor's not talking about it. We're not talking about it. And I know our colleagues in the House Democratic Caucus is not talking about it. And let me also be clear. We are joined at the hip. We are working together. It's been an honor to work with Chairwoman, Speaker McClinton, Leader Bradford, Chairman Harris, and our caucus members who are here today. A number of them are joining forces, shoulder to shoulder, arm in arm, making certain that we take steps to be able to pass a general fund budget. That's what we need to do. We don't need to be talking about things that they keep bringing to the table. Earlier on, we were talking about transit. As the chairman said, transit's now off to the side. Now they're bringing other things in energy policy, like getting us out of Reggie. They're also bringing other things in, like school choice, which we don't support. They're talking about making cuts to Medicaid. All these things they now bring to the table. There are things that should not be being talked about, being done at this late date. We have one singular purpose here in Harrisburg, and that's to pass a budget and working to compromise, as was stated multiple times this afternoon. That's what we need to do. That's what we stand ready to do. As was indicated by the Speaker, we have 23 votes who are ready today to enact the budget. And I'm grateful that the House Democrats are going to send us a budget in Senate Bill 160 to be able to allow us the opportunity to be able to vote on that and put pressure on our Republican colleagues to do it. Our Senate Republicans are the responsible party for this budget impasse. We need to call them out, as we're doing now, and continue to do that day in and day out. And we're going to continue to talk about it because we know that's where the root of the problem is, and we're going to take steps to be able to do that. That's what this message is about today. I want to thank all my colleagues who are here today, standing arm in arm to be able to get done what needs to be done. That's our job. We need to do it. Thank you very much. I'm going to now call upon my colleague who might give us a little more flowery remarks, and that is our colleague, our Appropriations Chairperson, Senator Vincent Hughes.
100 days late. 100 days late. 100 days late.
Shame.
Put the people first.
Put them first.
Put the people first. Stop doing the politics. Put the people first. Chairman Harris has laid out the fact pattern. Nothing that he said was incorrect. It was absolutely 100% correct. We are in a moment right now, this should be May, but it's October. It is October. Put the people first. Take care of their needs. Fund the schools, fund the human services, put the money in the community, put the money on the street. That is our job. I want us to be real clear. This is Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. This is not Washington, D.C.
Hey, yeah. It's not.
And let me say to you real simple, real clear. Leader Bradford, you sent us that bill. You sent us that budget today. We got 23 Democratic senators who are ready to vote for it. Ready. 23 Democratic senators are ready to vote for a compromise that's been in place for quite some time. We ready. We ready. Because you know what we do?
What we do?
We put the people first.
Come on now.
We don't put the people last. We put the money to send our kids to college, to get them scholarships and all of that. We put them first. We put the money for our child care centers and our schools first. We put the people first because they need the money for our senior citizens, need those dollars to take care of the facilities that they're in. We put them first. Our small businesses need loan money and grant money to keep their communities and their businesses going. We put the people first. These folks are putting the people last for political reasons, for political purposes. They see their assessment as they see, well, if we just delay the budget, that's gonna make all the Democrats look bad. What they didn't see is the recent polling that came out that Josh Shapiro's numbers are going up. Not down. Because the governor is putting the people first. The House Democrats are putting the people first. The Senate Democrats are putting the people first. They even tell me, Mr. Chairman, they even tell me the House Republicans are putting the people first. Now, how about that? I used a phrase a long time ago, and I said I wouldn't use it again, but what the heck? It's 100 days late.
Tell the truth.
And there's one entity that remains the boil on the butter progress. That's the Senate Republicans. Move off of that. Put the people first. Put the working people in this Commonwealth of Pennsylvania first. The people who make it run and make it work every day. Put them first. Put the folks who get the benefit of the crime prevention, the VIP program that's really been the vehicle that's reduced crime and violence in our communities. Put them first. Let them get the resources that they deserve to have. Put the people first. And I'm going to finish up right here. 23 strong for what you send us, Mr. Leader. 23 strong for what you send us, Madam Speaker. 23 strong from what you all put together to get over to our chamber. We are there for it. We will get it done today. Today. You send it. If they put it up for a vote, we got 23. Now we got to find others, but know that there's 23 ready to get this work done. 23. Without any further ado, if I could bring the Democratic leader, the majority leader of the House of Representatives forward, who has held fast in this time. Andy, come on up here, Matt. Come on up here, man. Because we've known each other a long time. And he has held fast. He has tried to find compromise. He's tried to work this thing out. He's tried to work this thing out. Send us that bill. Send us that budget, Matt. We got 23 ready to rock and roll. Leader Matt Bradford.
You got it, man.
Thank you, Chairman. And I will be brief. And I will.
How long it takes?
No, not after you. Never after. Today, we rightfully recognize the 23. And Chairman and Leader Costa, you have been amazing in this. You've been relevant in this because the reality is that you're 23 united. And the simple reality is the Senate is not united. And it is time for that chamber to be allowed to work its will. There are 102 House Democrats. There's not a quote out there that you will find that a single House Democrat from the shores of Erie to the shores of the Delaware can't vote for a budget, can't vote for the governor's proposed budget, can't vote for the budget that House Democrats passed almost 2.5 months ago, and can't vote for a compromised budget even today. We are a flexible bunch. We're a humble bunch. We recognize that in divided government, compromise is a necessity. But the reality is that we must work with the Senate. And despite their internal dysfunctions and divisions, for 3 months, with our friends, the Senate, and our very popular governor, we have said we will be humble. We realize we won't get everything we want. The idea that transit couldn't get done is heartbreaking to us. But we said, we'll move aside. On mid-June, when Senator Pittman, who's a good and decent man, said the Senate wouldn't be able to pass a budget by the end of that month, we said, give them space. I've tried to maintain a level of calm, and our caucus has held up to that. We have not engaged in the craziness or the public fiasco. We don't want it even at this late hour. We want a budget that does the people's business. Every time there's been an issue raised by our friends in the other chamber about fiscal responsibility, about policy concerns they would like to see addressed, I think at least 3 caucuses and a governor would tell you we've come back and tried to solve their problem. We are willing to compromise on every single issue. And there are 102 Democrats that would be heartbroken by almost every one of those compromises. But we will do them because government must be open and it must work. And we understand that we must be nimble and we must be wise and we must be decent and we must respect our democracy and the will of the people. And we have to work with the Senate, no matter how hard that is. So for 100 days, we have gone above and beyond and compromised. And even now, we will compromise. But here's what we won't do anymore. We will no longer stay quiet.
There we go, Bradford. Go ahead, man.
Look,
That's my leader. That's my leader. That's my leader, y'all.
now,
Go ahead, Bradford.
there's enough rhetoric,
There we go.
but it's time to start saying the quiet part out loud. 26 votes is what is needed in that chamber. I mentioned before, Senator Pittman is a good and decent man. He has never lied. And when he told me he doesn't have 26 votes, I believe him. But then he must let that caucus stand aside and let that chamber do the business for him. My good friend, who may have allocuted to some forgery in high school, says that the Senate has passed a copy and paste budget. It's not a copy and paste budget, it's worse. When you literally can't put together 26 votes for anything real, what you do is just say, oh no, that's last year's budget, but that doesn't account for the changes of demographics and costs. Like everyone knows, Medicaid utilization changes those costs dramatically. Are you cutting $1 billion from every subsequent line to make up for the fact that you underfunded Medicaid? Or are you just expecting that there'll be a supplemental next year when it gets overspent because you know it's a mandatory pay line? That's inside Capitol talk. And some of you reporters have an obligation to learn exactly what that means in print, what a fake budget looks like, because that's what that is. And let me say something else. And I love my good friend. Montgomery County takes a little bit of credit for our friend from Philadelphia. He said the quiet part out loud too. This isn't about the policies that House Democrats are willing to compromise on. This isn't about the fiscal issues that House Democrats have continued to ratchet down. And I recognize it is painful for many in my caucus when we make those compromises. I know that. It's about politics. And it's not just the people versus the politics rhetoric that you hear many times from this stage. It's about the politics of those who want to bring down a governor that is unbelievably popular. It is the most cynical politics in the world. There's an agreement to be done. There's been an agreement to be done for months. Everyone knows what the contours of that deal is. The sad reality is there is one side and one caucus at this late date who's playing electoral politics in this building. There was a time not that long ago that people realized that that type of politics shouldn't be played in this building. This majority, working with this united minority in the Senate, can pass a budget tomorrow. It can pass one this afternoon, the truth of the matter is. There is no reason for us to be at a day 100. There was no reason for us to be at day 10. Let's get this done. With that, I'm happy to take any questions.
You mentioned desire compromise. That's what they tried in 2023 with vouchers. That was shot down by House Democrats. Reggie is something that Leader Jesse Copper put on. That's something that hasn't gotten a floor vote in the House. If you mention a desire to compromise, what are the compromises House Democrats are willing to make to get a budget?
Senator Ward mentioned negotiating in public, and we have been very careful not to do that. We don't believe that's a good idea. But here's what I'm going to challenge you. Saying the quiet part out loud, go talk to the leader of that caucus over there and ask if we haven't made offers on every one of those issues. No, we're not doing vouchers. We won't. No, we're not getting out of Reggie without taking care of our environment, period, full stop. And we've all heard the governor clearly on where he is on that issue. But let me tell you something. If you want to compromise and you want to have these conversations in public, we'll have conversations in public. We won't negotiate in public, but don't think that we haven't offered on every single issue. We are more than willing to compromise on issues that are painfully tough for this caucus. When we go into our caucus, we talk about hard truths all the time. You see a lot of shaking heads and a lot of people that aren't happy with the leaders sometimes. We tell our 102 hard truths every day. We know we're not getting everything we want. We break hearts every day in this caucus because we know we have divided government, and we know that that is a divided caucus. But if you can't tell your 102 realities, if you can't tell the public we're not going to get everything we want and we have to compromise, then you shouldn't be in leadership. And you damn well should lead a caucus.
That's the answer you told yourself. Matthew Bradford, everyone. You really should.
What is the total general fund spend number in the building plan today? What is in it that you think should be attractive to the Senate Republicans? If you had to pitch one of their members on this field right now, what's the question?
I don't have to pitch it. It's going to speak for itself. We have yet to caucus, and I'm going to let us caucus before we talk about the details. What I can tell you is it will show another good faith compromise by this caucus to show that we can pass a real budget, we can compromise, we can do hard things. And I dare them to pass a budget that's actually balanced. I think there are a lot of forces that are playing politics in this building and outside this building. One only need to read the papers to find out who they are. They're pretty infamous. We have continued to talk to all of our chamber leaders, and we believe even at this late hour that hope springs eternal. Phillies may be down 2-0, but hope springs eternal. We have literally done that, and I will tell you, I believe there's a deal to be done right now. It's not about the will to cut a deal. The deal's there, Dennis. It's the will. It's the decency to recognize the deal's done. Now let's move forward and pass it. We all know what the deal is, guys. This is about politics, not policy. I respect you deeply. I want you to know something. If I believed there was a policy issue that we couldn't come to agreement with, I would tell you it's politics, plain and simple. There's a very popular governor and those that don't like it. That's all this comes down to at this point. One more question.
When you're talking about politics, just to be clear, when you say politics, are you talking about the internal issues within the Senate Republicans, or are you talking about state security?
I don't talk about Stacey Garrity. What I do talk about is the fact that there's a budget that's 100 days late, and there are those both inside this building and outside this building for electoral reasons or because they enjoy the dysfunction or enjoy the spectacle, want us to continue to be quiet, not call out what is patently obvious 100 days into this. There is 23 Senate Democrats, and there are enough Senate Republicans who would join with them tomorrow to pass a budget, would pass it today, and there are more than enough House Democrats as well as House Republicans to pass a budget. Thank you.